Hello, BH. Happy Tuesday of Engagement Week. We had a few technical difficulties, so we're getting started a few minutes late, but thanks for sticking with us. The Mint shout outs are flying around this week. I love them. I'm here in our Des Moines office where we are noshing on cupcakes with mint frosting and full of spirit. BH is full of spirit in a normal week, but we are blowing it up this week. I can't wait to visit some of our Dallas properties tomorrow to see some of the sidewalk chalk art firsthand. I can't think of a better announcement to kick off our State of BH today during this special week, other than to announce that our very own Harry Bookey, the one and the only, will be inducted into the Multifamily Hall of Fame this Thursday in Dallas. While Harry is deserving of the award because he was doing value add magic in suburban garden style assets before the rest of the industry figured it out. But Harry's accepting this award for all of BH, for each one of you that make this place a special place where people can live and thrive. Harry had the vision, and all of us work hard to make that vision a reality. So a huge congratulations to Harry and to each and all of you on this BH award. Well, now I'm going to turn it over to Megan to talk a little bit about what's going on this special week.
Thanks, Joanna, and happy Engagement Appreciation Week to all, and happy Team Tuesday. Go ahead and show off your team pride by letting everyone know who you're wearing today in the chat. Any Kansas City Chief fans out there? I'm sporting my Tampa Bay Buccaneers today, despite a disappointing Monday Night Football loss last night. But I know I speak for the entire engagement committee when I say this is one of the most special and fun weeks of the entire year. It's such a joyful and joy-filled week, celebrating how wildly awesome this incredible team is. We say it often, and I'll say it again, BH shows up. Yesterday, we certainly made it mint, from ice cream sandwiches to balloon arches, Hawaiian leis, sunglasses, Zoom backgrounds. This group really knows how to have a mintastic time. We loved hearing and seeing your team having fun during your mint hour. Yesterday's events will be hard to top, and I can't wait to see how you're spending your mint hour today. I wonder who's going to win today's BH 90s trivia. I wanted to share some of the pictures, you'll see them on the screens here, of the events and talk about some of the really great things that have happened already. It's only day 2 of Engagement Week, but Team Pembroke Club, they completed a BH Gives Back project yesterday. They created some tie blankets that they're going to donate to local shelters. Our renovations analyst team did some quick math, and they shared that they have a combined 14 years with BH. Rise, our Be Home community in Hawaii, they have a combined 5 years with BH, and they made a giant number 5 out in the lawn with fall leaves. It was so great. The Bricks Parameter Center and Promenade at Aloma, they took their coffee on the move yesterday morning. They were singing and laughing during a team walk. Many communities hit the pavement with chalk yesterday also. I saw some great messages from the Oaks of Woodland Park, Estates at Vista Ridge, and Summer Chase, just to name a few. If you haven't seen the pictures from Tavo Water's Cake Wars, I hear that their maintenance team may have taken first place in the cake war. Heath Tankersley from Seahawk Retreat, Wilmington's Common, he guessed Monday's Wordle in just one guess, y'all. One guess. I don't know how that was possible, but Arbors on Forest Ridge and Stone Creek handed out cupcakes and compliments. And I'll use the words from the team at Residences at West Place. Sorry, I'm going to steal your words, when they said, everyone is joining in the mint movement. I loved that. So how do I know all of this? I wish it was because I was able to be a part of the fun happening at the communities. However, I did feel like I was able to experience some of the fun through our Viva Engage page. So if you haven't scrolled through the Viva Engage page yet, go catch all of the creative fun happening there and go check it out. It's certainly where the party's at. So what's on deck for the rest of the week? We're only on day 2. Those mint hours will continue. Keep posting your pictures. We'll continue to release the shout outs and new releases and rewards each day. Y'all blew the house out with double reward points today. So keep at it. And tomorrow we'll celebrate BH Gives Back Wednesday with wearing our BH Gives Back t-shirts. Continue to submit those entries for the what would you do if you were given $130. We've got some great responses so far. Some people want to buy extra Halloween decor, one of those 12-foot skeletons they want to put in their front yard. Plants. So many BHers want to use the money to buy more plants. There's a lot of self-care talk, manis, pedis, facials, massages. We've got a few BHers planning weddings right now too, and they want those funds to go towards their wedding planning. And we're going to party big on Friday. We're going to celebrate BH's 30th birthday with some great benefits that we receive, birthday PTO. So enjoy closing down the office 4 hours early on Friday. We've got a note from our wildly awesome HR team to be sure to enter your 4 hours into Paycom as company provided PTO. So don't forget to do that. And thank you, BH. And happy birthday, BH. We celebrate together. So keep on enjoying Engagement Appreciation Week. And thank you all for being so wildly awesome. And speaking of wildly awesome, I'll pass it over to Kelly Gutosh.
Try that again off mute this time. Howdy, y'all. We're here to kick off the Big Leafy. So I'm going to let Mel do the big kickoff, and she's having computer issues this week. Her camera blew up, so she'll be off camera, but she is still joining us with all the love. Mel?
Yes, and although you cannot see me, I am in my Cowboys blue Trayvon Diggs jersey, and I'm absolutely devastated that he's hurt, but go Cowboys. And no, there are not Chiefs fans here, even if Taylor is dating Travis. If you know, you know. So back to the issue at hand, the great Big Leafy. Well, what's the goal? 95% occupancy across the entire BH portfolio by December 31st, 2023. Simple, right? Well, compared to where we are today, sure, we're at 93%. So we are so close. Let's put our game faces on and go get those leases. Why? Well, because when we all band together, we all win. Now, Kelly, I'll let her tell you about the details of how it works.
Okay, so to do the Big Leafy, you have to put on your best game show hat. So every time you hear the Big Leafy, you should be thinking the Big Leafy game show. So starting now, the September 25th through December 29th, through the end of the year, we are going to be busting to try to hit that 95% across all of BH. Part of that is a weekly campaign. So we'll be sharing with you hot tips around move-ins, tours, everything we can do to help seal the deal with our prospects. So watch out for community managers and regional managers for content topics to come into your inboxes each week. So videos, articles, inspiration, motivation, any tips and tricks. Now, part of that, of course, because we're BH, there, of course, is a leaderboard. We're keeping track. So Brandy's going to talk to us a little bit later about how we're keeping track of progress throughout the Big Leafy. But of course, there is fame, glory, prizes, recognition coming your way throughout the next 14 weeks over the Big Leafy. So remember when I said the Big Leafy, you have to have your game show hat on. So maybe if you watched a lot of game shows growing up, but 4 themes go through the Big Leafy. So you'll see each of these making their appearance over the next 14 weeks. The first one, American Leafing Warrior. So elite leafing pros are going to take on the toughest challenge, a 5-star tour. So think about all the ways that you can get that 5-star review on every tour every single time. The second one, Let's Make a Lease. That is all about taking on make-readies to win leases and move-ins. And as you saw yesterday, exciting news that now leasing consultants now have access to make changes on make-ready. So if you missed the update, go check your inbox. Came in from Kristen Gallagher just yesterday. The third one, the lease is right. That's making the leasing experience the ultimate showcase showdown. So of course, I'm borrowing from the prices right here, but you get the bill, right? We're trying to get the ultimate lease. And then last but not least, for those of us that remember the 80s, the lease connection. So this is about taking the right steps to connect with compatible prospects along their journey. So everything we can think of as we're meeting a prospect and carrying them through their journey to get them into the right home that's right for them. So I'm going to hand it off to Brandy because the numbers gal is going to tell us all about the data and how we're keeping track. Brandy?
All right, thanks, Kelly. By the numbers, that's my cue. All right, let's talk about what we're tracking. Here's the important part. We are tracking our hop, skip, and jump all the way to 95% occupancy. Not that far. Like Mel said, we're at 93% already. So we're just going to take a little hop, skip, and a jump over to that 95%. Ask for the resources you need to get there. So what else are we looking at on our journey to that 95%? We are going to watch your lead to show. We're looking for an average percent increase on your lead to show ratio. Now that lead to show, the reason we're watching that is because we can see in our numbers that when you show, you lease, and when people move in, right? So occupancy goes up. This is a key factor for us. Same with the percentage made ready. When our average percent increase goes up on our made ready units, our lead to show goes up and our occupancy goes up. We're also looking for an average decrease to our days vacant. So we're going to be keeping track of each of these three things, and we're going to measure those across each regional manager portfolio. We're going to measure them on a property level, and we're going to measure them each month and at the end of the overall campaign at the end of the year. And we're going to keep track through a leaderboard. There are a couple of different ways. Of course, if you ask me, I'm going to tell you to go into Fusion, right? You can look at your KPI dashboard, your community manager dashboard, your conversion funnel dashboard. But to make it easier, we have created a weekly leaderboard dashboard that looks at by property and looks at the whole portfolio together. So we've removed some of the individual information here, but you're going to be able to see each one of those things that we are looking at on a property level. Just look for your individual property. You're also going to be able to filter just the way you would in any other Fusion dashboard and look at your RM level, RVP level, state level. And then across the top, you're going to be able to watch the whole portfolio and how are we doing? Are lead to tours going up? Are average days vacant going down? Is our percentage made ready going up? And how close are we to that 95% goal occupancy? All right, I'm going to hand it off to talk about when we do this, what do we win? Kelly?
Thanks, Brandy. Now back to the part that you all really care about. What do we win, Mel? Well, first, there will be BH fame. There will be shout outs, recognitions, weekly wowzas, things like that. There will be glory. Winners get nominations to the all-new Winner Circlet Conference. And although Lisa Johnson's region gets first choice, the winning region of this contest does get second choice for seating at the dinner for the awards ceremony. And yes, there will be prizes. No, it's not a new car, but there are prizes for monthly overall winners throughout the competition. Additionally, when BH meets the 95% goal, everyone gets an extra 4 hours of PTO. And drum roll, please, the big winners in each region will have a leadership takeover day, and the overall winner will have an executive team takeover day. Now, what does that mean? Well, we come to work and you go home. Yeah, you heard that right. We will come to your property and we will work part of the day so that you guys can go sit back and relax. And with that, I'll toss it over to Jennifer Antos to fill you in on all of the good stuff going on in the build to rent world.
Wow, Mel, fame, glory, and prizes, count me in for sure. Hello, Team BH. I am here today to give you a BTR update. What is BTR, you ask? Well, I am going to tell you all about it. So coming soon to a city near you, you will hear a lot of different acronyms for build to rent. At BH, you will primarily hear us refer to build to rent as BTR. BTR comes in all shapes and sizes. BTR is single-family detached homes, cottages, townhomes, and more. The typical BTR community is between 50 and 225 homes. Some communities have on-site amenities, others don't. We currently manage 16 BTR communities in 6 states with a total of over 1,800 homes. The pipeline is endless. We are currently looking into bringing on about 20 new communities between now and the end of first quarter next year. Why do our residents choose BTR communities? There are a lot of reasons, some being yards, garages, smart home technology, low maintenance, privacy, space to work from home, room to grow, and the flexibility to move and not have to sell a home. So what does this mean to you? This means BTR growth is going to equal career opportunities. We will operate these properties a bit different than our traditional apartment communities. There will not be leasing offices at the majority of our BTR sites. Therefore, we will be thinking about alternative ways to run them efficiently. What does this look like? Maybe hybrid administrative roles, combining on-site and specialized services, mobile maintenance, contract terms, and so much more. In addition to generating new on-site positions, we will also need more BH support teams. We are thinking outside the box, and we need you to help us create our future. We can't wait to see where BTR takes BH in 2024. I believe, Mel, you're next.
I am. So let's take a minute to recognize the B homies out there. We are reflecting on a leasing season well done here, team. And as we're still awaiting final occupancy numbers, we are reporting on pre-lease numbers today. So let's give a huge shout out to the 13 communities who rocked it all the way to 100% pre-lease. And don't worry, Rise, I see you now sitting at 100%. So you're an honorary member here too. Coming in hot in the 90s pre-leased is another set of 9 communities. Well done, team. We worked our overall average pre-lease number to 96.15%. And once again, once we get final move-in numbers, I know we're going to be significantly higher. So keep it up. Now let's talk about renewals. We had some real outperformers in the group, with Echo 1055 taking the top spot at an amazing 60.79% conversion. Holy cow. Murray North took the top spot in rent growth at an astounding 16.2%. Wow. Well, let's not forget about how we got there. So shout out to the top 3 lead to lease conversion agents. Congratulations to Summer, Sebastian, and Mario for really showing them how it's done. Now switching gears from student housing to Mint services, what a better time than Engagement Week to talk about Mint engagement. See what I did there? We wanted to run through some quick stats to show off our programs and show off how well we're moving and grooving. Our renewal specialist group, which is made up of 34 team members, is leading the pack with nearly 81% of our portfolio, or 240 communities. That's 79,000 units on the program. Our RAM group is coming in a hot, solid number 2, adapting over 29% of our portfolio with 95 communities or 30,000 units and another 13,000 units in the pipeline. This team has grown to 27 employees today and actually expanding as we speak. Next up is our screening team with 39 communities at nearly 16,000 units and a solid team of 9 members. We have big plans for this program in the coming months, so buckle up, guys. And last, but certainly not least, our BH Contact Center with a current team of 5 members covering 8 communities with vast expansion plans for later this year and next. Now, let's take a minute to talk about our stats. Our RAM program sees a 4.4% drop in delinquency in the first 90 days. Yeah, you heard that right. With a year-to-date delinquency reduction of nearly $1.8 million, this team has rocked the delinquency world. But what does that mean for you and your teams? Well, it's a savings of nearly 5,000 man-hours. And they aren't the only group with a stack of amazing stats. Our screening specialists have saved us over $16 million in fraud with approvals at 58% and saving your team over 3,000 man hours. But that's not all. Your renewal specialists have generated renewal increases of 6.5% and at 19 days faster than sites without this team in their corner. And they've done it with a resident satisfaction score of 4.5. Wow. I don't want to steal Andre's thunder on the contact center, so I'll leave those stats to him, but can I get a big hell yeah for those support teams? And with that mic dropping moment, I'll toss it to Andre. Follow that, friend.
I will do my best, Mel. I will do my best. Well, good afternoon or morning, fellow BHers. Happy to come to you today to share a little bit of update on Scout as well as the BH Contact Center. So thank you for not spoiling it for me, Mel, but I'm happy to share some statistics about what we've seen and then to also share some facts about what we've learned since the implementation of the BH Contact Center and we're leveraging Scout across a good part of the portfolio. So first of all, I want to say we're seeing a lot of success. That's the goal, right? We've seen roughly a 42% increase in our lead to application ratio. We've seen the call answering ratio skyrocket for communities using the BH Contact Center to just under 90%. And we've also seen a 36% increase in lead to appointment ratio. And for even sites that are using Scout, bringing in that nonverbal component with AI, we've seen a 33% lead to appointment ratio on nonverbal contacts, way above what we normally would see for nonverbals. We also seen that each site that implements Scouts usually sees Scout average about roughly 230 leads that it assists with, and it contributes or saves roughly 82 hours per month. So it's almost like having a part-time team member there with you. And it's important to know that the BH Contact Center and Scout aren't even like entities that kind of came from out of nowhere or came from Mars. What they are tools that are based in and rooted in magnifying or multiplying what we already do great here at BH. So when you see the BH Contact Center and Scout, don't think about something that just magically came out of nowhere. Think about it as just what you do today on steroids. So now that we've seen that success with the BH Contact Center and Scout, it's time to go over what we've seen, and not only what we've seen, but what we've learned. And what we see is that we have three kind of consistent pillars that we see kind of contribute to the success of these platforms. The first thing is the best ability is availability. By improving our call answering percentage, we see that more individuals get into our pipeline and we have the opportunity to move them through the leasing funnel and actually have them be members of our community. We see that an immediate response to nonverbal inquiries that Scout provides drastically improves the ability to get those individuals to set in the tour. We're seeing roughly a 75% increase in individuals that engage with Scout because they do get that immediate response. And lastly, we see communication outside of business hours, right? There's no gap in our communication with our prospects. No matter what time they want to reach out to us, we have a method and a manner in which we can communicate with them. The second thing we've learned, attention to detail matters. The right communication at the right time is so important, right? It can't be all templates, unfortunately. It can't be all calls on our follow-ups. It can't be all emails. It has to be the right communication at the right time. And then we learned that down funnel communications are personal, right? If anybody's been following Coach Prime, he's been going around saying for weeks, it's personal. And that stuck out of my mind in this because I'm like, yeah, it's personal. When you're down funnel, it should be personal. And down funnel basically just means, hey, I've toured. I'm down to the nitty gritty, right? So a templated response may not be the best approach. It may need that little bit of personalization where you may have remembered that they have a dachshund, that you may remember that they would prefer an east exposure. Make sure those down funnel communications are personal. Those attention to those details really matter. And the last thing we've learned is that collaboration is greater than substitution. I mean, what do I mean by that? Well, it basically means that while these shared services are great, and while Scout is phenomenal, and I'm really, really fond of what we're doing with the BH Contact Center, it's no substitute for what you bring to the table. We see that when we collaborate and those entities layer onto what you're already doing today, it's when we have the most success. So it's not a 1-for-1 scenario, it's a 1+1 scenario. And that's where we find our great success. So I would encourage you to replace them and me with us and we. Instead of saying, yes, Scout scheduled that tour, you got to say, hey, yes, we scheduled that tour. I saw that you scheduled a Scout. Or saying, hey, that's the BH Contact Center. They're going to follow up. Going to say, we're going to follow up, right? So the more collaboration that you have, rather than having these entities substitute for you, is what's going to breed the best success. 2, uniformity builds trust, right? A consistent messaging between your shared services, as well as you, builds trust for the prospect. How cool is it to know when they walk in the door and you say, hey, I heard you have a little pup named Jeff, right? And they're like, whoa, that's cool. You actually learned that? Scout told you that? Or the BH Contact Center told you that? Uniformity builds trust. And the last thing is, information is great, but knowledge is power. We don't want to just be informed of what each other are doing, or we don't want these entities to just have information on your community. We want them to be knowledgeable. And the difference is that information allows me to kind of speak to your community, but having knowledge allows me to be an expert on your community and deliver the same experience that you would. So long story, what we've learned is that, and if you wouldn't mind go to the next slide, what we've learned is, and this is like my favorite meme in the whole world, community team members and BH Contact Center, they're one and the same. They're just alike. The wheel hasn't been reinvented. We're using the same guest card for all intents and purposes. And there isn't an extreme difference in the process that you see when managing the lead. But there are a few things that we've been able to do and that we've been able to learn just to make ourselves more accessible, to pay a little bit more attention to detail, and to collaborate a little bit more. That has led to some bumps and some key metrics. So while we're waiting on the BH Contact Center to come to us, and maybe while we're waiting for Scott to implement, what can we do today? Well, it sounds simple, but the first thing we can do is be more available. And I know that's tough. That's extremely tough. But there are some things that you can do to help yourself be more available to your prospects so that you can also see a similar boost, even if you don't have these shared services in place. Number 1, knowing our peak leasing hours. Is there an opportunity or where we see leasing takes off for us more than any other time, where tours take off for more than any other time? Maybe there's an opportunity to schedule move-ins not during these peak leasing hours, or not schedule maybe a team meeting during these peak leasing hours and having ourselves available. 2, informing our prospects of all of their options. Sometimes we're just so busy and it's just so difficult that we may not be able to always stand in the gap. But then we have entities like the self-guided touring here. But do our prospects always know that? So it's always great to inform our prospects of all of their options. And then lastly, strategic use of our admin hours. If there's an opportunity to kind of complete some administrative tasks during these times and not during our peak leasing office hours, maybe that's the best opportunity for us to make ourselves more available to our prospects. Second, how can we pay better attention to details? Well, we can take notes and not be afraid to use them, right? Well, it's great that when we have details on individuals, we don't make that knowledge just firsthand knowledge. We share that with everyone. We have those notes present so that shared services such as Scout and the BH Contact Center has access to those as well and can utilize those in their processes. And the next thing to just know is that one size doesn't fit all. Give that personal touch in communications, right? If we find ourselves using the exact same communication or the same verbiage on every single tour, ask yourself if there's an opportunity to be a little bit more personal in your approach to potentially drive that individual home and have them apply to your community. And then the last step is, how can we better collaborate? Well, we can help graduate our tools from awareness to expertise, right? Is it good enough to have and know that Scout knows that you have 3 pools? That's great information to have, but we want to make Scout an expertise and say, hey, we have 3 pools, and then one with north exposure, one with south exposure, one with east exposure, right? The devil's in the details, and the more details that we can have, the better we can equip those tools that we have in place to assist you with day-to-day. Next thing, familiarity with the entire prospect experience. If you're not exactly quite sure how those tools that are designed to help you are working, it's okay to invest the time and reach out to your support system to learn a little bit more, right? That will allow you to better collaborate with those tools and really leverage what they do to assist you. And the last thing is just to know that your team extends beyond the walls. These shared services are in place, once again, not to substitute for what you do today, but to collaborate with you and multiply what you already do extremely well. So know that even just beyond your walls, that you do have help out there and there is assistance for you to help us matriculate and move those individuals from prospect to resident status. And with that being said, I'm happy to yield and bring in my pals from HR to keep this thing rolling.
So one of the things that I've learned in the last 37 minutes is that Dallas Cowboys slander is alive and well in BH chat. So I'm a little distracted, not gonna lie. Okay. So one of the bigger takeaways from last year's employee engagement survey was that you all had a lot to say about benefits. It was a hot topic. So as a result, our benefit team worked to send out a more targeted benefit focused survey. And the results were narrowed down into the 4 or 5 major categories that we kept seeing in your comments. So one of them being 401k match was not great. There was also an ask for Roth option with 401k. That our new parent leave was lacking. There was a preference to separate sick time and vacation time, and that our fitness reimbursement participation was limited. So, as a result of your survey feedback, we are excited to announce that we've been able to tackle most of these items and are working on several others. A few things to note. So 401k match was increased in 2023. Again, that was the result of your feedback. And in 2024, we will be introducing the Roth option. We're also introducing legal benefit offering 2 plan options in 2024. And that benefit offers help in areas such as wills, trusts, estate planning, family law matters, civil, and yes, some criminal matters. Our vision provider is also moving to MetLife in 2024. Again, your feedback throughout the year indicated that there was some limitations for people that take our current vision insurance. So the change in vision providers in 2024 will offer a larger network of providers. So who doesn't love more options? But as a bonus, this change also will result in a little bit of a lower monthly premium. And then finally, who doesn't love a discount, right? BH has partnered with PerkSpot to offer team members a variety of discounts. So you're looking at more than 25 different categories and spanning over 10,000 different brands that are participating. And while this was intended to be a new benefit rolled out in 2024, we are opening this up for early access to everyone on, I believe, October 2nd to be exact. So look out for more information on that coming your way soon. And then, as I mentioned before, while we haven't been able to tackle all the things, we've been able to work through what the next phase of this looks like and what else we can improve. So we do have a few others that are still in the works. We've got new parent leave improvements coming your way in 2024. We have the addition of some self-care days. We are separating sick and vacation time. We are going to be able to expand the fitness reimbursement program to all BHT members. And we have a few others that I can't give you now, but more to come between open enrollment and between now and the end of the year. So make sure you pay attention to all of the exciting benefit emails that you're going to get over the next couple of months. So of course, now here is our shameless plug for 2024 open enrollment. Open enrollment is going to start November 6th and will close November 24th. It's passive enrollment this year, meaning that you don't have to go in and re-enroll, but we highly encourage everyone review all the communication you get and review your current benefits, because this is the one and only time that you're allowed to make benefit changes unless you have a qualifying life event. Now, one quick note, if you are participating in a flex spending plan, those never roll over, so you are required to re-enroll in flex spending every year. Even if you keep all other benefits the same. So just remember, if you want your flex spending year over year, you've got to re-enroll every year. And now we've come full circle back to employee surveys, our employee engagement survey. The one thing we wanted to drive home in this segment is that we do review all of the feedback, the good, the bad, everything in between. And we work to make it all happen. So we count on your participation and the candid feedback every year. And we promise that your time is not wasted. So our next employee engagement survey will launch October 5th. It's anonymous. It's administered by McLean & Company, the same third party that we used for last year's engagement survey. All employees will receive the individual link to participate in the survey on October 5th. And this will include all new hires through July 31st of this year. And again, we want your feedback. As you can see, we do take it, we run with it, we do what we can to implement change where we can. So please, if you'll take the time to participate when you get the link, we would really appreciate it. And now, some words or a few words on the upcoming United Way campaign. Joanna?
Thanks, Charlotte. Appreciate all the great changes that you're making based on the feedback we're getting from fellow BHers. Well, stay with me. We're in the home stretch here. Speaking of mint movements, I love that, mint movements. That's now part of my vocabulary. We are thrilled to announce that in October, we're once again launching our company-wide United Way campaign. So mark your calendars for October 30th through November 3rd. With your support, we can foster an equitable, engaged, and empowered community, one that is united around providing support and resources for those in need. In 2022, we were able to raise more than $140,000 during our campaign. Those donations directly impacted programs focused on education, health, financial self-sufficiency within our local communities. This year, we know we can go even further, and our stretch goal is to raise $145,000. Here is a really short video highlighting the important mission of United Way.
It's not that I don't want to work right now. I'm just in between work, so that's the thing.
During their difficult times, we're just trying to be able to stabilize them, make them feel safe, and then help them with, physical health, mental health, addiction, and any of their educational and financial goals to create lifelong success.
There was no plan B. There was no plan B. Without 211 and without the ability to get into a shelter, be it Salvation Army, St. Vincent de Paul, or any of the other partners with United Way, there was no other option. We would have died.
How do you choose which voices to pay attention to or which people to help?
Thanks to United Way, you don't have to.
With us, you can help every voice be heard.
Your gift, combined with others, does more than a single gift to an agency or program could ever do on its own.
Imagine the amazing sound of a person who succeeds because of your contribution. Can you hear it?
BH will once again be matching employee contributions for up to $10,000. We hope you'll help us reach our goal by joining our virtual campaign event, which includes all the fun things we do every year: bingo, a silent auction, raffles, and more. Stay tuned for details in the coming weeks. Well, thanks BH for tuning in. Enjoy your minty week.